I do this weird thing where I talk to myself. Not out loud into a mirror or anything. I imagine a conversation with my future or past self. Nobody told me to do this. I just started doing this years and years ago, and then later found out that some therapists and life coaches teach similar practices. When talking to your past self, it's usually called inner child work, and I'm not sure what they call it when you talk to your future self, but I know master life coach Christine Hassler, and probably many other coaches, teaches something called empty chair process, where you can talk to literally imagine a conversation with anyone, including a different version of yourself, so it's very similar to that. But I've been doing this long before I ever learned about that. I've always been good at intuitively knowing what I need and finding a way to give it to myself, I guess. In my version, I don't speak out loud. I just sit, usually with my eyes closed, and imagine myself sitting by my side while I have the exchange in my head. But you could certainly do it out loud when you're alone if that helps. I've done this many times in my life when life has been tough, including around the topic of whether or not to have kids. When I was really in the throes of being on the fence, I worried a lot about whether I'd regret my decision not to have kids if that's what I chose. I used to picture my older self feeling so disappointed in my former self for wasting the decision time on the fence and leaving us child and grandchild free in our end-of-life years, feeling so let down. So I decided to have a conversation with this future self. As you can probably guess, it got pretty emotional. I sat on my side of the bed and looked over to the other side of the bed where I imagined she was sitting and listening to me. I told her I was so sorry if I let her down, but I just didn't think I could do it. I gave all of my reasons. I took a breath and imagined myself aged, sitting next to me where I had just been looking. Then I imagined what it'd be like to be sitting in that spot and looking back at my tear-soaked face as this young. I was early/mid-30s when I did this version of me. I could see my crying self through my older self's eyes for a second. I could see how scared and confused I was. I felt a real wave of maternal energy and so much compassion, and I imagined she'd tell me, "I know, honey, it's okay. Trust me, nobody understands better than I do." I think that older version of me probably said a lot more in that moment that I can't remember all these years later, but that was all I really needed to hear anyway. I needed permission not from my partner or my mom or my friends or society or anyone else not to have a baby. What I deeply wanted was permission from myself, specifically my future self. I wanted to know she wasn't going to hate me or be mad at me for the decision I made, that I wasn't ruining our lives. I wanted her to see me struggling and appreciate how much energy I had put into weighing this decision, that I wasn't being careless. I wanted her to remember how hard this decision was to make. And she is me, so of course she knows already. My younger self was already a part of her and the life she'd lived too. It was really healing and weirdly surprising after worrying so much that I'd have future regret, to hear myself imagine a future me that was so understanding and supportive. The version I conjured was ironically very maternal, but she didn't express a desire to mother children. She just wanted to mother me at that moment, herself at a younger age. And while we can't know everything in our future self's mind, it felt like even if she had wished we'd had kids, she already understood why we didn't and was very at peace. And that same compassion and maternal energy is what I've harnessed for Mother of a Dilemma and coaching clients that are almost always younger than me and in the exact place I used to be. That energy is used to guide, mentor, and support others now instead of parenting a child. Rereading this and reworking it for you today has surprisingly brought the flood of emotions back. Perhaps because I'm realizing that here today I could be the older version of myself I had pictured. I'm probably about 5 to 6 years older than I was when I did this. I don't remember what age I pictured at the time. Maybe several ages, honestly. 40, 50, 60, all combined into a generic older self. But technically I am now the future self I imagined back then. I would kill to step through a portal back into my bedroom in that old apartment, sit down on that bed in that empty spot, and give her a hug and tell her life is good and everything is fine. To reassure her that we actually feel great about the child-free choice and nothing has been ruined. It was a difficult time in my life for other reasons too, and it'd blow her mind to hear all the things that have happened since then. The new job, new apartment, getting off the fence, getting our dog Jack. My life right now is everything she wanted, but that felt out of reach back then. It's a good reminder to me now that my future self probably has a lot of the things I'm trying to figure out how to get now. Even now I'm wondering what my 45-year-old self will have to tell me 5 years from now. Of course, in my story, I've chosen to be child-free, and what I needed in that moment was permission to choose that. Your story doesn't have to look like mine. Perhaps your older self is giving you the courage to pull the trigger on starting a family. Maybe they're reassuring you that the water's fine and it's safe to jump in. What do you think your future self might say to present-day you if they could really sit with you and hear about the weight you've been carrying with this decision? How might they have your back and support you through this? You don't need to go into this exercise with a script of what they'll say to you. It's better you don't. Just be present, vulnerable, and share your heart and let whatever comes through come through. Don't try to force it to be anything. Just be open to receiving whatever messages come. I do another weird thing I call time traveling. I lay down on my bed or the couch, and I imagine that I'm old and on my deathbed. I close my eyes, both in reality and I imagine my older self doing so too. And then I think, I would give anything to go back for 5 minutes to insert present day. I then open my eyes and look around at my current apartment. Maybe my husband is playing guitar and Jack is chasing a ball, and I pretend that my deathbed self is looking through my eyes at that moment. I'm looking at her old life and apartment that she hasn't seen in decades. I think about how my husband's hair isn't gray and how young he looks. I think about how my older self wouldn't have seen this dog in decades and how emotional it would be to see him alive and playing. It makes me cry every time, but it's a powerful experience ripe with gratitude and seeing your life with fresh eyes. Appreciating where you are and a reminder that it's all fleeting. Again, I don't remember when I started doing this or what made me think to do it. I just made it up myself one day. But here now in 2026, you've probably seen a version of this on socials as it's been a bit viral in the last couple years. The idea is, especially for struggling moms, to pretend your deathbed self was given the chance to go back to this time now and jump back into your life as it is today, just for one day. How might you appreciate these newborn trenches in a different way? Getting to see your child as a small baby again. That sort of thing. What does your life today look like when you time travel and look at it through your end-of-life glasses? What can you appreciate about your life exactly as it is now? What are other moments and experiences you want to have in the near future that your end-of-life self could look back on and appreciate too? Let that emotion flow. What are you feeling? Both of these exercises are mechanisms to play with perspective and to unlock the inner wisdom that's already within you. So often we're waiting for someone to tell us or for us to just magically know things. We're waiting for some big reveal. The reality is we often have to dig it out of ourselves. Grab a shovel. A lot of what you're looking for is buried just below the surface.